Behind every headline, every crime scene, every unsolved mystery, lies a story darker than anyone imagined. These stories are told through my lens. Welcome to Tales by Mr. K. February 19th, 2013. Guests at a hotel in downtown Los Angeles began complaining about something strange. The water tasted wrong, some said it smelled terrible. Others noticed the color had changed, but nobody could have imagined what investigators were about to discover on the roof of the Cecil Hotel. Inside one of the hotel's water tanks was the body of 21-year-old Elisa Lam. And just days before her death, an elevator security camera captured behavior so disturbing that the footage would spread across the internet like wildfire. To this day, people still debate what really happened inside that hotel. Was Elisa being followed? Was someone waiting just outside the elevator doors? Or was this the tragic collapse of a young woman silently losing control? This is the story of Elisa Lam, told through the lens of Mr. K. Elisa Lam was born in Vancouver, Canada in 1991. Friends described her as intelligent, creative, and deeply expressive. She loved books, fashion, writing. And like many young people her age, Elisa shared much of her life online. Through Tumblr posts and personal blogs, she documented her thoughts, emotions, and experiences. But beneath the surface, Elisa was struggling with mental health issues. According to reports, she'd been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. She had experienced episodes in the past severe enough to impact her studies and daily life. Still, in early 2013, Elisa decided to travel alone across the west coast of the United States. It was supposed to be an adventure, a fresh start, a chance to escape routine and experience freedom on her own terms. Eventually, her journey brought her to Los Angeles and to one of the most infamous hotels in America, the Cecil Hotel. By the time Elisa checked into the Cecil Hotel, the building already carried a dark reputation. Located near Skid Row in downtown Los Angeles, the hotel had been associated with violence, overdoses, disappearances, and death for decades. Over the years, criminals, fugitives, and even serial killers had reportedly stayed there. Some guests described the atmosphere as unsettling the moment they walked through the doors. Others called it chaotic, unpredictable, almost cursed. But despite its reputation, the hotel remained cheap and, for tourists traveling alone, affordable. Elisa initially stayed in a shared hostel-style room with other guests. But according to reports, her behavior soon began alarming her roommates. Eventually, hotel staff moved her into a private room. On January 31st, 2013, Elisa Lam vanished. Her parents became concerned after she stopped calling home. This was unusual. Elisa had reportedly contacted them every single day during her trip. When several days passed without communication, police launched a search. Officers searched the hotel, rooms, hallways, stairwells, even the rooftop. But there was no sign of Elisa. Then investigators uncovered something disturbing: security footage from one of the hotel elevators. The footage begins normally. Elisa enters the elevator alone, but within seconds, her behavior becomes deeply unsettling. She presses multiple buttons at once, steps in and out repeatedly, peeks nervously into the hallway as if she's hiding from someone. At moments, she appears frightened. At others, disconnected from reality. Then came the moment that disturbed millions of viewers around the world. Elisa begins making strange hand gestures outside the elevator, almost as if she's communicating with someone unseen. The elevator doors remain open far longer than normal, and eventually, Elisa walks away. She's never seen alive again. When the footage was released publicly, the internet became obsessed. Every movement was analyzed, every frame dissected, and theories began spreading everywhere. Nearly 3 weeks after Elisa disappeared, guests at the hotel began complaining about the water supply. Some said the water pressure was low, others complained about the taste and color. Maintenance workers were sent to inspect the rooftop water tanks, and inside one of them, they discovered Elisa Lam's body. The discovery shocked the world, but instead of answers, it raised even more terrifying questions. How did Elisa reach the roof? Why was she inside the tank? And perhaps the biggest question of all, was she alone? Almost immediately, the internet exploded with speculation. Some believed Elisa was being chased by someone just outside the elevator. Others claimed paranormal forces were involved. Conspiracy theories connected the case to hidden experiments, ghosts, and even supernatural entities connected to the Cecil Hotel itself. The elevator footage only fueled the mystery further. The strange movements, the delayed elevator doors, the eerie silence. To many viewers, the footage didn't feel real. It felt like a scene from a horror film. But investigators eventually reached a very different conclusion. According to the official autopsy, Elisa Lam's death was ruled accidental. Investigators concluded that her bipolar disorder likely played a major role in the events leading to her death. Reports suggested she may not have been taking her medication consistently during the trip. Experts believe this could have triggered a manic or psychotic episode, and suddenly, many parts of the elevator footage began to look very different. Not paranormal, not supernatural, but tragic. A young woman alone, silently struggling with a mental health crisis far from home. The mystery of Elisa Lam continues to fascinate people around the world. But behind the viral footage, the conspiracy theories, and the endless internet speculation was a real person, a daughter, a young woman struggling silently with mental illness. And perhaps that's the most unsettling part of all. Sometimes the scariest mysteries aren't supernatural, they're human. Officially, Elisa Lam's death was ruled an accident. Investigators believed her bipolar disorder played a major role in the events leading up to that night. But for many people, the official explanation never felt complete, because even years later, some questions still remain unanswered. How did Elisa gain access to the rooftop? Why did the elevator doors behave so strangely in the footage? And if she entered the water tank alone, how was the heavy lid supposedly closed again afterward? The internet quickly transformed the case into something far darker. Some believed Elisa was being followed inside the hotel. Others claimed the Cecil Hotel itself carried a history too disturbing to ignore. A place connected to serial killers, unexplained deaths, and decades of violence. Then came the conspiracy theories. One of the strangest involved a tuberculosis test called Lam Elisa that was reportedly being used in the area around the same time Elisa died. Online forums exploded with speculation, coincidence, or something more. Others believed the elevator footage had been altered before its release, slowed down, edited, frames removed. Some viewers even claimed Elisa appeared to be reacting to someone hidden just outside the camera's view. But despite all the theories, no evidence has ever definitively proven foul play. And maybe that's why this case still haunts people today, because the truth sits somewhere between tragedy, mystery, and fear of the unknown. Perhaps Elisa Lam was simply a young woman experiencing a devastating mental health crisis, or perhaps there are details about that night we were never meant to fully understand. This has been Tales by Mr. K. Sleep Carefully.